And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, tuning in. This is the first of many, hopefully, podcasts that you're going to hear coming out on my channel. This is the WWE Weekly Wrestling Podcast featuring your host, me, Michael Norman, and along with my fellow co-hosts, Seth Cole and Kyle Matthews. Gentlemen, thank you for taking the time to come join me on this podcast.
You're very welcome. It's glad to be here. Always love doing stuff like this.
Did you just assume my gender?
And that's how you start.
That's how you start.
How you start a podcast, right?
Wonderful start.
All right. So many of you guys who are subscribed to my channel know us for our YWC stuff. And, of course, our YWC predictions and all that, in which we have a new prediction, new predictions champion, Kev Shear, and that all happened because Jinder Mahal won the championship belt.
Yeah.
That still sounds so weird.
It does. It honestly does. And speaking of that, we're going to be reviewing the weekly stuff. So we're going to be reviewing, I don't know, should we review NXT? That's up to you guys.
Well, I mean, you can. To be honest, I didn't actually watch NXT this time. I know a couple of things that happened, but I don't know. I wasn't as much involved in this NXT pay-per-view as I am some of the other ones. Because for the most part, I kind of knew who was going to win most of the matchups, so there was no point. I watched a little, like I said, a couple of recaps, but aside from that, I don't know a whole lot of what went on.
Well, even though that you know who's going to win doesn't mean you shouldn't watch because, just like the UK match, it was a 5-star match. That was a really
That's probably the only
match.
one I really regretted I didn't watch.
So I guess we'll start with WWE Backlash then. Let me see if I can remember the card off the top of my head. I know, I can just go to your channel, Seth, and
it started out with I can tell you one
go.
thing. I know the show started out with an amazing match between Dolph Ziggler and the in-ring debut of Shinsuke Nakamura.
Why? What is happening here?
Things you don't want to hear on your podcast. What is happening here?
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out too. What is going on? There it goes. That was just awfully weird.
Kyle and I have vivid imaginations, so we're kind of left to come up with our own.
I was trying to. What it was is I was trying to get onto your account, like in mine. Just click on your channel to go back through to find our predictions video, but it was taking me to some weird place.
And before I go and check and find out my channel's been taken down.
Right? It's taking him to a weird place. Oh dear.
Holy crap!
Oh boy.
How long ago was the predictions video put up?
A week ago? Yeah, I think it was a week ago.
About a week ago.
Because it wasn't Backlash this past Sunday?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we did the predictions last Wednesday. So yeah, it's been a week ago.
Featuring the YWC crew and Charles. No, YouTube, I do not want to participate in your survey. Okay. So let's
start out with YouTube surveys.
Let's start out with our kickoff show match, and that's Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English.
Why are we talking about this?
Because it's a podcast. We're supposed to review the whole pay-per-view.
Okay.
Even though we all pretty much knew Ty Dillinger was going to win, the match was still interesting in itself. It wasn't really just one-sided.
No, it wasn't one-sided, but if there's a borderline between a squash match and a not squash match, it was like right in the middle because, I don't know, we kind of had already seen it once before Backlash, and so we kind of knew what we were going to expect. They didn't up it at all for for the pay-per-view. It was almost like watching the same matchup all over again. Nothing really new, nothing really out of the ordinary, nothing exciting. So it was almost like we watched a repeat of, I think it was the SmackDown before Backlash, when they had the one-on-one matchup there.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like, WWE was thinking, okay, we need a match for the pre-show. Let's just throw this up here. It's either this one or Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan. Which one do we want?
Actually, the Luke Harper and Eric Rowan match, which we'll be discussing next, actually was a pretty decent match. So,
it was. I gotta give him credit. I wasn't really looking forward to this one heading in. I thought, we've kind of seen this before when we had Harper turn face and all that kind of stuff. It's like, this is just filler. But I think we got to see a little bit more of the Luke Harper we've been wanting to see, because ever since he broke off, turned face from the Wyatt family, he had a bit of a push, and it was just like it went nowhere. And now, hopefully, with what we saw him showcase at Backlash, this means he's going to get another push.
I actually hope that too, mainly because Eric Rowan, Luke Harper is a really gifted athlete. I mean, he's been on podcasts a while talking about. He's been on this he was even with Stone Cold on his podcast before. Luke Harper is a really athletic individual for somebody his size, and don't count out Rowan too. The match for two was a decent match for two big guys like that. I mean, I won't go and say that it was better than Braun Strowman Big Show was, and that's saying something. But it really was a decent match to say the least.
The only problem is, where can they take these two from here? I mean, I've been trying to formulate other feuds they could go off into. Maybe ways you could put Harper back into maybe a United States Championship picture, because he's a former mid-card champion, because he's a former IC champ. I mean, is there a way you can get him back in there? Rowan's really never had the opportunity to be in a championship picture, but I think at the moment, you've got about 6 or 7 main top talent guys on the SmackDown roster that I'm not really sure there's enough room to be able to put either of those guys into that picture, especially since you've got the Kevin Owens AJ Styles feud going on with the United States Championship, and that's, quotes, the mid-card championship on SmackDown. So where they can take them from here, I think, is going to be the big question.
Well, you never really know. I mean, they've been billing SmackDown as the land of opportunity, and they've kind of, it's kind of been made true here with, Jinder Mahal where he's at, and then Breezango becoming #1 contenders for the tag team title. So, what they do with, if for some reason one of these two become #1 contender for either the WWE Championship or the United States Championship, it wouldn't surprise me any by the way that they're going right now.
That's a good point.
And I wouldn't say that turning Harper face was a bad decision, but I think if they had kept him as a member of the Wyatt family, they could at least then take him and Rowan, put them in the tag team title picture, because let's be honest, right now I think the SmackDown tag team division is faltering a little bit. They do have the Usos, they do have the Fashion Police. American Alpha, for some reason, has been put on the back burner. We got the New Day coming in, but I think if you had another tag team kind of to fill it in with Rowan and Harper, maybe we wouldn't have the faltering of the tag team division on SmackDown that we have right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I can see that happening again. I don't know why, but they're gonna feud now. But somewhere down the point, I can see them. I don't want to say hugging it out, but pretty much like getting back into being the Harper Rowan tag team. I wouldn't necessarily say go under the fact of the Wyatt family, because I think the Wyatt family is officially dead. With Bray Wyatt on Raw going after his own, and then you got Harper who left the family, who's a face, and then Rowan, who is a heel, going after him for leaving the family. The Wyatt family is just dead, but for some reason I can see them getting back to being a tag team. And if pushed the right way, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan could pretty much be the next Brothers of Destruction.
But they'd have to be heels, though. Because right now, based off of what you see, you've got New Day. They're probably going to be face. American Alpha's face. Fashion Police now apparently are face. Usos seem to be the only heel team out there, and I'm trying to remember, are Rhino and Heath Slater over on Raw now?
They're on
or are
Raw.
they still
They're on Raw.
Okay. All right, so right now it's a 3-1 face versus heel. So in order to balance it out, you got to turn Harper back to a heel again.
Then you can't forget. Then you can't forget.
I don't know if it's too soon.
And you can't forget whenever Zack Ryder's cleared to come back, are they going to pair him and Mojo Rawley back up to be the Hype Bros again, or are they just going to get singles pushes, or what?
I can see that happening because they'll have more success as a tag team than they would singles competition. I mean, they only gave Mojo Rawley the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal win for God only knows why.
For Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, because he was there. Alright, and I guess we'll take that and move on to the next match. Very surprising finish for this one. Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I think, looking back at our predictions, I think everybody had Baron Corbin. I think everybody but like one or two. One of us had picked. Everybody but Chris Dollarton.
Everybody but Chris, yeah. Chris is the only one who had Sami Zayn. The rest of us went with Baron Corbin. Yeah, that match surprised us all. I'm not sure what they're doing with Baron Corbin. I mean, they were giving them this huge push to be the next WWE champion, and it kind of just didn't happen. And now he's losing to roll-ups at the pay-per-views to Sami Zayn, who apparently they don't give a damn about.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's be clear. Hang on. Sami Zayn did a haluva kick at Backlash. It was a roll-up on the following SmackDown.
Oh well, close enough.
Yeah, I don't understand what they're doing with Baron Corbin. I thought they were trying to position him to be, the top heel on SmackDown, I guess, until Kevin Owens was moved over there. But still, I think if you want him to be in that position, you got to give him some wins here.
The only thing I can think of, the reason they gave Sami the win on the pay-per-view, was maybe they're trying to keep him relevant enough that we could see him in the future become champion. Because, he's been losing a lot on Raw and SmackDown, but he's been getting wins here and there, kind of to trying to keep himself relevant in a way. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you one thing that I think they're doing too, and I'm gonna say this right now, and it'll be followed up, obviously, officially when we have the Money in the Bank predictions. But I think they're pushing Sami Zayn towards a Money in the Bank briefcase win. To be perfectly honest, the way things are going.
I really hope so.
That would make a lot of sense if they're trying to give him a lot of momentum heading into Money in the Bank.
I mean, you look at it right now, you've got Ziggler and Nakamura in a feud. I mean, I don't know if that's dissipated since Backlash now or not. AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, that's going to continue on. So you've kind of got two odd men out, Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn. And I think with the fact you've had Sami Zayn pick up 2 wins over Baron Corbin, Corbin's been able to kind of come off as this monster, attacking Sami Zayn after Zayn gets stretchered out. I think this is setting up for the underdog story for Zayn to come back at Money in the Bank and win the ladder match.
That would be good too. And actually, I was going to talk about this at the end of the show, but I guess I can ask this now. Do you think that if Sami Zayn wins the briefcase, do you think that they're going to cash in that same night, or do you think that they'll give Randy Orton the title back?
I don't think they'd do that 2 years in a row. Remember, Dean Ambrose won Money in the Bank last year and cashed in on Seth Rollins, who ended up defeating Roman Reigns for the WWE title. So just because they did it last year, I don't think they'll do it 2 years in a row.
But here's the thing, though. We all know that Jinder Mahal is pretty much getting only a 1-month title push as champion. Because, we've all read the rumors, we've all read the speculations. They're only giving him the 1-month title run as a test to see if he can handle it. So why give the title back to Randy, make him a 15-time champion? And Randy has no motivation. He's just there to be there. They only gave him the championship because of everything he had to endure last year.
Well, yeah, it's about to, like I said, I mentioned this a couple times before, but when we weren't recording. But apparently Vince McMahon is treating Randy Orton, basically like SmackDown's version of Roman Reigns because of what he did with Brock Lesnar last year at SummerSlam. Took that vicious beating, so they gave him the Rumble, they gave him the title. So, I mean, they could very well easily just put the title back on Orton. But why? Other than that reason, I have no idea why they would do that.
I mean,
well, let's also be clear too. You mentioned, Michael. You mentioned this how it was going to make sense if they did put the title on Jinder because of the fact they've got this whole big corporation thing going on in India right now. Another reason I think why it made sense is because a lot of people, including myself, were kind of getting bored of Orton's title reign. He wasn't doing a whole lot. He was basically holding the belt, and that's it. Nobody was really, considering him a champion. This puts the title belt in a heated picture, being on Mahal, but I think it'd be too soon at Money in the Bank to have the briefcase cashed in. So I think Mahal's going to hang on to it, and I think he's going to keep it for at least past Money in the Bank. I think it's too soon to cash in at the pay-per-view when the briefcase is won.
I would agree with that if you can keep in the back of your mind that Jinder Mahal was a jobber 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, how do you go from just jobbing nonstop on Raw, get moved to SmackDown, then all of a sudden become #1 contender for the WWE title, and then you become the WWE champion? And something else I find interesting, one thing I've heard, I haven't checked, but apparently Jinder Mahal has absolutely no merchandise on WWEshop.com, so I don't really get what they're doing here.
Well, to be fair, when Zayn moved over to SmackDown, you can kind of consider him a jobber over on Raw.
Glorified jobber.
Yeah.
Jinder Mahal has no merchandise being sold right now. His custom side plates are anything but.
Oh. At least we know his name.
Yeah, Jinder Mahal. So that only proves to you that this could have been a last-minute decision. And I don't mean like last minute, like day of. I'm talking like last minute, as in like it was enough for them to be able to create those kinds of side plates in enough time for him to win the championship and be able to change them out, type thing.
And Seth, you mentioned that big corporation that WWE has over in India right now, which is a reason why Jinder Mahal's getting this big push. I just find that hilarious because Jinder Mahal's birthplace, Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Uh-huh.
Well, it didn't work out for Muhammad Hassan. I guess they figured, why not? Let's do it with Jinder. Somewhere the guy who played Muhammad Hassan is probably pissed off.
I mean, to quote King Ross, he said that when JBL last night said that Jinder Mahal came from the same place that gave us Mother Teresa, then in other words, JBL is not from Texas. He comes from a place with a triangle.
Shout out to what culture? But yeah. And then what about this? Now here's going to be an interesting topic: the SmackDown Women's Division, 3-on-3 6-man tag, if you can even count James Ellsworth. Naomi, Charlotte, Becky versus Natalya, Carmella, and Tamina.
Yeah,
it's kind of disappointed we got this instead of a women's title match.
Anything to keep Naomi's champion for a while.
Well. This is just being thrown out there. There has been word that they are looking into having the first ever women's Money in the Bank briefcase ladder match.
WWE stealing YWC's ideas once again.
That's what I thought too.
I was just about to say that we could really get a lawyer at this point.
We really could. They haven't exactly said who all the participants would be, but they are saying it would be an opportunity for Summer Rae to come back, and also an opportunity for Lana to debut her new gimmick, if you will. Her
stripper gimmick.
I thought Summer Rae was on Raw.
Well, she is, but they've moved her now over to the SmackDown roster, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then Lana could debut her stripper gimmick and pole dance on the ladder.
So I think basically the other 4 participants would be whoever doesn't win the #1 contenders match that's going to take place next week, I guess.
I think it'd be your typical, SmackDown women: Natalya, Carmella, Becky Lynch. Who am I missing here?
Charlotte. If they give Carmella the #1 contender spot and then she wins, I'm definitely suing. For those of you who don't know, back when we did YWC on Seth Cole's channel, Carmella was the first ever Raw Women's Champion. So yeah, if they do that, I'm fucking suing.
Especially
before Nikki Bella comes back as a special person on SmackDown, wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, then we sue them again.
Especially if Carmella wins it in an over-the-top rope battle royal.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. I'm like, stop stealing from us. You have your own creative team. I'll be calling up Vince. Vince, you either hire us as your writing team, or you stop stealing our ideas. Your choice. And then
Raw ratings would go up.
And then we'll get sued and lose everything and be like, damn, we should never have did that.
Their Raw ratings will go up. They're at an all-time low right now.
When I go to SmackDown here in about a month, when they come here to Dayton, I should just make a sign that says WWE steals YWC's ideas.
But just have a YWC greater than WWE sign.
Yeah, there you go.
I can see that happening now. Anyways, the next matchup, we did actually take that back. We didn't even really talk about this match. It sucked.
Next match.
I would say it sucked.
Well, it was a grade A Teddy Long tag team match.
I think this fell into the category of too many bodies.
Yeah, it did.
Might as well have been a Survivor Series match.
I honestly didn't think we saw any real terrible matches at Backlash. I think match quality-wise, I thought it was a real solid show.
Well, Backlash is considered a B show, if you will, and they had matches that fit the criteria of a B show, so I have to give them credit for that.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool to see Natalya win, don't get me wrong. And I know our buddy Trent was happy about that too, but it just felt unnecessary.
Well, people were mad Becky Lynch was the one that took the submission.
Not the champion, so.
Yeah, but was the first SmackDown champion.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, who else is gonna give it? I mean, like you mentioned, they're not gonna have Naomi do it because she's a champion, and God knows they're not gonna have Charlotte tap out. So
right.
That's a good point. So, anyways, on to an actual tag team championship match: the
Leia
Usos versus Breezango.
This was
probably the most interesting yet funny match of the night.
This was one of the most entertaining tag team matches I've ever seen. I mean, I've never seen a tag team match that had a mix of comedy spots and some damn good wrestling at the same exact time. How they pulled this off was amazing, I thought.
I have to be honest, this was a close second to the Owens-Styles matchup for me. It looked like it was gonna, be your typical comedic writing and nothing was gonna happen, but we saw some really good offense out of both Fandango and Tyler Breeze, as well as the Usos.
Yeah.
It mixed so well.
It really did. I mean, there were some points in that match where I'm starting to think, damn, are they really going to put the belts on Breezango? I mean, I picked the Usos.
I was too. I really wanted it to happen.
I picked the Usos to retain, but I mean, there were some, but like I said, that there were some spots in that match where I'm starting to question my pick there at first.
This match, Johnny Curtis and Tyler Breeze really put up one hell of a fight. To me, the Usos, as a heel, they're not cutting it as a heel, in my opinion. I mean, all they're doing is coming out saying some stupid shit that pretty much nobody can really understand, and then goes on and wins the match in some dumb way, like almost out of nowhere.
Whenever the Usos get into a matchup, they're good, but with their holding the titles right now, it's almost like Randy Orton when he was holding the championship.
They're just boring.
Exactly.
It's like they're just playing it safe right now for some reason.
I guess
that was a big reason why I was kind of wanting Breezango to win, because it would not only put new faces behind there, but also two guys that have had some really good storyline writing put behind them, whereas the Usos have just been kind of like a flat line for the last month or so.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree to that.
I guess they couldn't have like two shocking moments in one show if they're already going to put the WWE title on Jinder Mahal. I guess they didn't want to do the same thing with the tag titles,
which was dumb in my opinion. Two new era champions, if you about it.
Well, I know this is spoilers, but okay, if they're not going to put the title belts on Breeze and Fandango at Backlash, do it the following SmackDown. They had the opportunity to.
Yeah, and it really looked like they were going to do it again. That was another good match on SmackDown between them.
It really was.
I have to say though, it's nice to see Tyler Breeze and Fandango get just get the kind of push that they're getting, because they're here are two guys that are really talented in the ring, but just cursed with a shitty gimmick. So it's nice to see them actually getting rewarded for once.
So we're killing two birds with one stone at this point, pretty much, because we're talking about the SmackDown pay-per-view Backlash, while at the same time talking about SmackDown from last Tuesday, yesterday at the time we're recording this. So killing two birds with one stone on that point.
We can just cover the feuds at this point instead of the individual matches.
And then we got Shinsuke, and then the next up on the list is Shinsuke Nakamura and Dolph Ziggler. Now we all knew who was going to win this match, but that didn't stop them from putting on one heck of a show.
But I was left a little disappointed.
Yeah, because Dolph Ziggler just didn't seem like himself.
No.
I disagree. I thought, I had high expectations for this match heading into Backlash, and it lived up to it for me. I couldn't think of a better person for Shinsuke Nakamura to work with in his debut match to really look impressive than Dolph Ziggler, because we all know how talented Ziggler is. I think he's one of the most underrated people out there, and I think it's a real shame that he's probably never going to be pushed to the top ever again.
I'll agree.
Well,
I'll agree with what you said there, but Dolph Ziggler has not been the same since he's. It's one of those. It's another one of those things. Like, he just comes out, says some bland stuff, and then that's it.
Well, for me, the reason I was disappointed is knowing what these two guys can do. It moved too slow. There was, to me, a little too much gaps in between. They could have had it flow a little bit better, had a little bit more high octane, knowing what both of them are capable of. Because we've seen them do it before. We've seen Shinsuke do it in NXT, and we've seen Ziggler do it on multiple occasions. Think back to when Ziggler and AJ Styles had that battle. At that point, they put on fast-paced matchups. So why couldn't they do it here with Shinsuke?
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that, but yeah, you're right. At the beginning of the beginning of the match, it was kind of slow paced, but they picked up the pace, middle toward the end. I guess it was because it was the first match of the night. I guess they wanted to kill some time. Who knows?
Well, I can agree with that as well, and a lot of the parts saying this. As of right now, I wanna say, aside from a couple of differences, the main event of the year, the entire year, has got to be Bobby Roode versus Shinsuke 1.
Yes.
The first match between Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura, first one, is definitely a hell of a match.
It was glorious.
It's going to be in the top 5 for the entire 2017 season. There's no doubt.
And I had every reason to believe that Dolph Ziggler and Shinsuke Nakamura had every potential to be that kind of match as well.
They did. They really did.
Yeah. And, well, just like you said, it kind of left a little bad taste. But it was still, I guess, in a way I can rate it a 3.5, 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I could definitely give it a 3.5. I don't know if I'd go as far as a 4. I don't know if necessarily it had the potential to be a 5-star, but it would have been close.
Right, yeah, I get you. So now we're going on to probably the best match of the evening, the United States Championship match between Kevin Owens and AJ Styles.
And my hat's off to the SmackDown writing crew. What a creative way to finish off that matchup to be able to make sure that the rivalry and the feud continues. That was unexpected and something we haven't seen in a while, and I tip my cap to the writers.
Yeah, it made them it made both Kevin Owens and AJ Styles look really strong. I mean, neither of them looked weak. They both gave it their all, and just some amazing spots, and looked like those two just threw everything they had at each other and then some. So yeah, this was amazing, and the ending of it left a lot of people disappointed the way it ended, but it makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
It does.
It really does.
It does. It makes none of them look weak, and a count-out victory is a count-out victory. And AJ gets his leg caught up in wires from the announce table. Couldn't get back in to the ring in time. Loses the match, gets untangled, and then gets a follow-up super kick by Kevin Owens.
And how about the thing too, where you look at Raw, you look at Roman Reigns, gets beat up, always manages to come back. It's like, come on, this is getting old. When Kevin Owens was targeting the leg, and we knew he was going to target the knee of AJ Styles, they've been leading that up. I'm thinking, okay, we're going to have typical WWE. He gets targeted, but he somehow is going to have the fortitude to be able to do the fabulous forearm. But they had it where he couldn't do it, and I thought, thank you, continuity.
I'll be honest, I thought he botched that. I thought maybe he missed the rope and fell.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
AJ Styles botching?
I was gonna say, is that name and that word in the same sentence ever?
Well, sometimes botching is accidental. No
AJ Styles was able to jump through about a 3-foot by 3-foot steel beam square through chain link fence to be able to take out people at total nonstop lockdown at TNA. I mean, this guy does not botch.
Oh, that's a good point. But
back to your point there, how you said, how you're glad that they kind of continued that story with the injured knee. People don't want to see Super Cena 3.0. We've already got it with John Cena. We've got it with Roman Reigns. We don't need to see it with anybody else.
Exactly.
Except maybe if it was Kevin Owens. But not forever. But not forever. I could see them giving Kevin Owens the ability to kick out at 2, for a good long while, but not for, everything. Rumor has it that John Cena sets his alarm clock at 1:59 a.m. every morning just so he can kick out at 2.
Oh, gosh.
Bats are out tonight. Yeah, and AJ Styles calling Kevin Owens the Eric Cartman of WWE.
He did, didn't
Oh,
he?
yeah.
Yes, he did. He did that last night.
Shout out to South Park.
Wow.
Oh, these guys. Well, at least you know what they watch on TV in their spare time.
Yeah,
apparently so.
I wonder if that was
Well, think back, they actually had a views war at one point. Back, I think it was in I want to say 98, where it was actually a viewing battle between WWE and South Park.
Wow, who cares about WCW at this point? We got more people watching South Park than...
Exactly.
That's how you knew WCW was on a decline. No, but
well, can't wait to see how Kenny dies this week.
In many cases, I wish
Kenny Dykstra.
Oh wait, didn't the Spirit Squad debut on TNA now? At least Mikey and Kenny.
What?
Yeah, I saw somewhere, I don't know where, if it was an old video, but they actually were in a different wrestling promotion, and it almost looked like TNA. I wasn't quite sure.
As the Spirit Squad, or as somebody else?
Well, they were. I recognized them from the Spirit Squad. I don't know if they were like, "Oh, we're the Spirit Squad."
Well,
yeah.
I think Kenny Dykstra did have a stint in TNA.
I think Mikey did too.
He might have.
Anyways, so I guess this leads us to the final match of the evening of Backlash, the most unpredictable, but kind of leaving a bad taste in your mouth, but then at the same time saying, "Oh my gosh, what did we just see?" The WWE Championship match: Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal.
Now, why is it leaving a bad taste in your mouth? I loved it, to be honest. The only thing I don't like is we're back to the Mohammed Masan kind of thing of I'm a foreigner, hate me.
Yeah.
It depends on how you look at things for those casual fans. And yeah, it's like I said before. Somewhere Muhammad Hassan is getting angrily pissed off at the fact that he got to battle the likes of The Undertaker he got to battle the likes of, you know, who else did he battle?
Didn't he face Cena?
John Cena, and all that, but and yet he gets taken out by a last ride to the cement, all because it was bad timing for his character. So somewhere, Muhammad Hassan is gonna be pissed the hell off at Vince McMahon, because actually, if the rumors had it, Muhammad Hassan was supposed to actually get a good WWE push, a WWE Championship push. I'm not sure if it's for the actual WWE Championship, but he was supposed to get one. But the timing with the terrorist event.
Yeah, it was around 9/11.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was after.
Was it after?
It was in the Iraqi War era.
Oh, that's right.
It was. It was like 2004, 2005.
Yeah, wasn't there like a bombing in London or something that took place at that time?
Yeah, the London bombs. And then, you know, remember when he had those people attack the Undertaker and they came dressed up like terrorists? You know,
oh, yeah, I do remember that point.
The hooded people, I forgot what they called them. Yeah. That, while it was a good storyline, was just bad timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead, they give a Canadian who's pretending to be Indian the WWE Championship.
Well, I think the reason I like it is because it kind of plays off the Seth Rollins J&J security kind of thing, except you're doing it with a mid-carder this time. You're not doing it with a big name like Rollins was at the time. I mean, let's face it, if you look at him in terms of rating, Rollins at the time was an A player, Mahal is a B player. So the fact that a B player has backup, I think makes more sense in going up against somebody like Randy Orton, and that's why I think this was a good choice. Because you mentioned he's been a jobber. That's true, but he's got backup now. And so that can kind of take away he was a jobber, but he was by himself. Now he's got backup. Now he's able to do different things. And that's why he's been able to get himself up to the top of the mountain. Was it pushed too quickly? Maybe. But still, I think... They didn't give him much build-up. That's the one thing you want to say. Well, let's be honest. In that, what was it? Was it a Fatal 5-Way?
Yeah.
A Fatal 5-Way. Whoever they had done, I think it would have been too soon to put the belt on them at Backlash. It wasn't enough time for build-up, I think, regardless of who was going to win that.
Yeah. Well, they did their best. They got Jinder Mahal the championship, and then he has his Punjabi celebration on SmackDown.
Yeah, I love how you mentioned that he has backup. That backup that got brutally murdered by Randy Orton in the middle of that
Orton
match.
thought he killed one of the Singh brothers.
He just murdered.
He threw him, and then he looked back like, "Wow, did I do that?"
Sometimes I don't know my own strength.
But I want to say, was that actually him, or was that the Singh brothers just selling a little too much?
No, that was actually him.
Okay.
No, you can't tumble off an announce table and go a couple feet in the air by yourself.
How do you sell that?
And Randy Orton turns around like, "Oh, did I just really do that? Oh God, yeah, okay, next."
He's probably looking around in the crowd like, "Is Mr. Singh's mother here? I gotta go and let him know her baby boy's okay."
Thinking, "Oh no, this is gonna cost me tens of dollars right here."
You're fine, $10. Yeah, and then, he does the RKO to Jinder, the Singh brothers pull him out of the ring. Randy Orton does the double DDT to the Singh brothers, not killing them this time. And then Jinder Mahal out of nowhere hits them with the camel clutch. What's it called again? The camel clutch.
Slam or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
It's like a modified rock bottom.
Oh yeah, but it's with the camel. It's like a camel clutch submission, but he does the slam.
I'll be honest, it's a weak-looking finisher.
Yeah, I must say that. And
basically a sidearm takedown.
Yeah, and I could say this: the fact that nothing happened during the Punjabi celebration kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, I was hoping Randy would come out and attack him or something,
We saw nothing of Orton, which made me even wonder. It's like, why? He's got himself a title rematch and we don't even see him the following SmackDown.
Yeah.
What the heck?
But it's like this. It's like, I was expecting Randy to be dressed up as one of the people down dancing, Yeah, you know, the Singh brothers leave the ring a little early, and Randy comes out of nowhere.
Randy Orton dressed up.
RKO.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, you're not going to care about your title reign? Well, fine. We're going to make you dress up like a Punjabi guy. You go out there and dance around.
Randy Orton comes out dressed as a third Singh brother.
Right? I can see that. Why are you so tall? I'm the tall one.
Oh, man.
Speaking of the Singh brothers, would you rather have seen them as the Singh brothers or as the Bollywood boys?
How the Singh brothers work?
I wasn't familiar with them before all this, so it really doesn't
But
matter.
actually, to be honest, I wasn't either, and I watch a lot of NXT, and I didn't see really anything of the Bollywood boys. To be honest.
Well, I mean, they were the Bollywood boys over in GFW, which is owned by Jeff Jarrett, so it's technically a TNA subset. So I don't think they would have used that name over in WWE.
Well, and also it's Guerrilla Force Wrestling, for those of you who don't know. Which I'm
Guerrilla?
Sure
I thought it was Global Force.
Is it Global? Well, I know
pretty sure it is. If it's the one Jarrett owns, it's Global Force.
Okay, then that would be it. But I know there's a Guerrilla Wrestling thing too. But yeah, I guess in a way it works out because it's just like you said. It's just kind of like the Seth Rollins and J&J Security, and I hope we see the Singh brothers in action soon as well.
Well, there's another heel tag team.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So then let's now move on to discussing the last thing for the show here, and that's Monday Night Raw. And I want to start out with the most possibly obvious thing, and that's who attacked Enzo Amore. I think it's Big Cass, which I hope it's not. I hope they're not separating those two, because I love Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Are probably my favorite tag team on Raw, next to the Hardys. And I just do not understand for the life of me why they haven't put the tag titles on them. They've been there for over a year, and that's like an eternity for WWE. So, but it makes all the sense in the world if it is Big Cass, because we've seen him do this before. Yeah, that's true. We have.
Like Shawn Michaels, Triple H comes to mind, and I'm sure they've done it a couple times before that.
I think I know who it is, and the reason is we got a little bit of a hint on Raw. I don't know if anybody else saw it. I think it was the Revival. Revival are back because during the Sasha Banks interview, when Alicia Fox and Noam Dar walked in as well, in the background, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson were there. The Revival is back. Apparently, it appears that, I don't remember which one, I think it was Wilder was the one that was injured. Apparently, he is healed up, because they were there in the background. I think you're not going to see Enzo and Cass split up. I think it was the Revival that attacked Enzo, and you're going to see a feud between Enzo Amore, Big Cass, and the Revival.
I hope that's the case.
They slipped us a little Easter egg there, and I think that's who the attackers were.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're gonna definitely go out of order here, but go ahead, Kyle.
Either that, or they just appeared on camera at the wrong possible time. Who knows?
If the Revival was the attackers, I'm gonna buy myself a pizza as a reward.
All right, so let's move on.
Either that, or I'm going into a detective agency.
All right, let's move on to another good match of the evening, and that is Matt Hardy versus Sheamus, where the winner chooses the stipulation for the match at Extreme. So, as we all know, Matt Hardy ended up winning, and he chose a steel cage match. Your guys' thoughts?
Well, a little bit surprising. I think we all thought it was going to be a ladder match, but I forget where it was. It's one of these pages that I follow on Facebook that covers WWE. Apparently, they didn't want to have the Hardys and Sheamus and Cesaro have a ladder match because of what we saw at NXT TakeOver. I guess they didn't want to, just do another ladder match so soon.
Yeah, where the ladder was made of wood and not steel.
It is rather
alarming,
un-Hardy-ish. thing I can think of is the only reason we would have something like this is because they're going to set up for Hardy to be able to do a swanton bomb off the top of the cage, like he did in TNA.
And then get broken.
The interesting thing.
Titles and get broken.
Well, no, here's the problem. I've heard WWE doesn't even want the Hardy's broken gimmick. They don't even